Welcome to Task 1 for Unit 13 Command and Control. So let's look at the first part in P1. You need to produce a PowerPoint and identify the rank structure in two contrasting uniform public services, including the responsibilities. Now, contrasting services have to be one from the military and one from the blue light. Okay, so you pick one service from the military, which could be the Army, the Navy, or the RAF, and you pick one service from the blue light, which can be the police, the fire service, or the ambulance service. Okay, what you need to do for each service that you choose is you need to identify the rank structure, okay, of each of the two services chosen. You must include pictures of the rank insignia. Okay, that's what the ranks actually look like. The rank name and the responsibilities of each rank. For P1, you only need to do this briefly. Okay. Now, a little example of this would be this. So, for P1, what you need to do is include the rank insignia for two services. So, this one is for the police service. The rank title and a brief description, and I do say brief, of what that role is. Okay, so there's an example of the police, and then the army. So you've got two contrasting services, the police being from the blue light, and the army being from the armed services. Again, you've got the rank insignia, you've got the rank title, and a brief description. Okay, so then going back to P2 then, for this you need to produce a poster that describes the chain of command for one public service, including its uniform structure. Okay, so what you need to do for this is to demonstrate the chain of command structure in a comprehensively annotated organization hierarchy chart, showing the responsibilities exercised at each level. Now, what I would be willing to accept for P2 to make this easier is include in P1 a hierarchy chart, okay, and the responsibilities for one of the services explained in detail, okay, described. Okay, so do P1 as I've stated, and if you want to achieve P2 as part of P1, okay, come back to this. So pick one of the services to do for P2 and include more detail for each rank. Okay, now that would cover the responsibilities described, not identified, described in detail. Okay, and then you need to include a hierarchy chart. Now you can cut and paste this from the internet as long as you reference it. However, in this layout is not sufficient. Okay, so you need to look on the different service websites. So if you're going to do the police or the army, okay, you need to look on the different service websites and find the actual organizational chart and include this picture. If you do include it, please reference where you got it from. Okay, so just a reminder, for P1 you pick two services, include the rank structure of each of them, okay, include the rank insignia, the rank name and responsibilities. If you want to include P2 in P1, make sure when you explain the responsibilities for one of the services, not both of them, for one of them, include a lot of detail when you're describing responsibilities. Okay, and for one of the services where you've explained the responsibilities in detail, include the hierarchy chart, and that is the organizational chart from that service, which you will find on the website. Again, this must be referenced. Okay, so there's an easier way for you to achieve P1 and P2. If you're not happy with this or you still don't understand, click on the Ask Chris link on Moodle and I'll be able to help you with any questions you may have. Okay, moving on to the merit part of Task 1 then. You will participate in some roleplay scenarios where you're acting out command and control. Okay, this may be desktop, it may be computer based, or it may be practical, whichever your tutor decides. From that, you need to produce a report which analyzes in detail both the good and bad practices of your scenario. So not in general, not from a case story, from your actual role plays, what was the good and what was bad practices. Okay, and you must write that up as a report. So looking at D1 now then, again, this can be an extension of M1 or it can be a separate report, whichever you want to do. But the key word here is evaluate. So you've got to look to evaluate in this report. Okay, so you've got to be looking at the importance and use of command and control within uniform public services. Okay, now I've got in brackets say that you should review a case study as a class to understand the importance. Now that doesn't mean you have to include the case study in D1, but it does mean you have to do this exercise to understand how to evaluate the importance and use of command and control. So just to be clear, you should do this exercise to understand how to evaluate, but you do not have to include the case study in your report. Okay, so I've put some tips down here on what you must look to include to get the distinction material. Okay, so we're going to start with include examples and references. Okay, if you've got no references at all in your report for distinction, you will not achieve distinction. Regardless of how long it is or how good quality it is, you need to include references to get the distinction. Okay. Second one then, why is good command and control important? Okay, so explain why command and control is important, and then don't just stop there. You know, why is it important? Okay, looking at the consequences if it's not important. So what's the advantages and disadvantages then? Okay, the advantages to good command and control, it means you could rescue and save more lives, you could have a more effective team, and on the flip side of that, the disadvantages could be that you've got a less effective team or you lose more lives. Okay, the impact of poor and good command and control could be, what's the overall big picture? Could you cost service money from obviously poor command and control? Could you damage equipment? Could your team members get injured? Could people lose their lives? Would this give the service a bad reputation, which is called bringing the service into disrepute? Disrepute means bad reputation. Could this put them in a bad spotlight with the media? Could the public lose confidence in them and not call them out as often? So these are the type of things you need to include for this section here. So who is responsible and who can be affected? Well, this is what you'll learn from your tutor notes, but ultimately the person responsible is going to be the officer in charge for command and control. So who could that affect? It's obviously not just going to affect his team, it could affect the public, it could be affecting people that are looking to rescue, it could affect external agencies, other services it could affect. So this is what you need to include in there. But don't just say who can affect, how could it affect them? Okay. So what are the consequences of the incident going wrong? You know, there's lots of different things that could go wrong at incidents, and this is where you'll use your knowledge from the case study and try and apply that to this bit here. So when is command and control important? And this is when you should look to pick certain times when command and control is really important. Is it just for the whole incident, or is it a particular time when you first get to the start of the incident where you're assessing the situation? Is it at the end? Be opinionated in here. What do you think is the most important time for command and control? Okay, so a little bit room to explore with this one. So where would these skills be important then? Again, is it just a typical in the police? Would it just be routine, going to educate children at local school? Would it be respond to an actual incident? In the fire service, would it be respond to a house fire or car accident, or could it be when they're fitting smoke alarms? Evidently, just from that, you know that obviously fitting smoke alarms is not that important. You don't need command and control, so it is going to be at serious and major incidents. Okay, that could be the police, the fire, the ambulance, or if we're talking for the army, in serious conflicts abroad or defending from wars. Okay, so use as many examples again for that, and use some links and references or quotes even from the websites. So how could command and control change the outcome of an incident? This is where you want to use all the knowledge from here in terms of, you know, good command and control, how it can bring around, you know, saving people's lives, making the teamwork more effective, and do it cost effectively, makes the service look good. But also on the flip side, what happens if potentially it's got poor command and control, someone loses a life or you can't rescue them, you damage some equipment, You cause a lot of damage, somebody gets injured. Does the media get a hold of this and then portray them poorly in the media spotlight? This gives the service a bad reputation. Could they lose more funding from the government? Again, you need to look at the impact further on from that. Okay. You must include in every report you do this year, guys, for distinction, an introduction, a conclusion, and a bibliography where you include your references and your web links that you've used. Okay. Now, I don't want to just see web links galore for your references. Try and using some books and some journals from the library. There's plenty of information within the LRC. But most important, guys, do not plagiarize, do not copy, do not cut and paste, do not look at your mates, ask them to email it and cut and paste it to work, because we will recognize that you've done that, and this may lead to disciplinary action. So do not plagiarize. Okay. So if at all you don't understand anything I've went through there and you want more information from yourself, okay, go on to your Moodle page. Yes, this is level 3 year 1 and these are year 2s. However, this link here won't be available this week, but it should be available next week for you to click on. Now this will open up a direct live chat if I am on the computer, so you can ask us questions directly, or if I'm not on the computer, you can send us an email and ask us any questions regarding anything to do with assignment work or anything else for that matter. Okay, I am looking to get you the course lectures up on here, so if we go to your website now and have a quick look to see if Alan and Heidi are on here. As you can see, you've got Alan on there, so you can do the same for Alan for his unit. And okay, you have your course mentor and student representative. However, Heidi hasn't been added yet, but she will do over the next week or so. Okay, thanks very much now.